Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about when a person has a high sense of entitlement. And some people, they're confused, they don't understand exactly what that would mean. And there's so many ways a person can show that they have a high sense of entitlement. I think one way to explain it is with the way some people drive, and I'm going to do that. Okay, where I'm sitting right now is a really huge parking area, and I'm sitting at the end of it close to the road. And when I went in there to go shopping, it's a Walmart, and it's a huge Walmart. And when I went in, I'm going up to the front to get, the front of the Walmart. So I'm going in the correct direction. People are coming out, the store, so I'm having to pause and wait for them. They have the right of way that are coming out, and there's out the doors, and it has right there, and you gotta pause for them. You gotta stop for them. And so I'm going down that part of it, and a man coming out of the parking areas just drove right in front of me. I mean, right in front of me. And my natural thing was to hold up my hands like, what? And he saw that because he was turning. He was so close to me, I almost hit him because he just zoomed out and he was not in the right of way. And he did something I would say was kind of ethnic. I guess you would call it that, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. But I think it means like, I could shoot you, something like that. It wasn't what I've seen as, somebody doing as they're going to shoot you, but it was something similar. Yeah, so he was at fault, but he made it mine. I was at fault for how dare I say he's at fault, by just raising my hand. Like, what the? Seriously. So there was one. Now he has a sense of entitlement. He thinks he owns the road, apparently. Owns the parking area, owns everything, and anybody who, pulls out, anybody who raises their hand, oh, you're in trouble. How dare you? Like I just said. He owns it. That's a sense of entitlement when they think that they are entitled to do what they want. There's an example. Okay. Anyway, so I was in front, and then I made a turn after that. I'm like, wow. And I made a turn. So I'm on one of the, coming down the correct way, not the wrong way. And a man in front of me, we're on our side, on our right side. There was a car coming. It was a 2-lane, and there was a car coming from the other direction, going the other way. Everybody was in the correct lane. But the guy in front of me, he wanted a parking spot that was to the left. You don't park to the left, you park to the right. Ones to the left go the other direction for people coming that way. But he wanted that spot. So apparently he thought that me, who's going straight, and the person coming from the other direction going straight in the correct lanes would have to stop for him, because he was going to back into that parking spot to the left. And that's what he did, because I didn't know what in the world he was doing. There are parking spots that sometimes go straight for people with the disabled. Well, he moved all the way to the left lane in front of that person, okay, and just straight forward, going straight in front of that person. I had no idea what he was doing. I just wanted to get the heck out of Dodge. So I went ahead and started going. But what he did was he backed in. He pulled all the way to the left to make sure that person coming forward was not going to take his parking spot that he had to back into, because he was going the wrong direction. And me and her, that person, it was a woman, had to stop for him or hit him. You see, that's a sense of entitlement. The world, everybody must stop and let them do what they want. That's somebody who has this sense of entitlement. They're entitled to do it the way they want, and everybody must mind them. Okay, now when I went into that store, I've been having some problems, some health issues, and I have a rare health condition. For one, it's caused me muscle atrophy on my hamstring muscles, and I've been having some other kinds of problems. And so when I went in there, I decided I needed only a few things, but it's a big store, it's a big Walmart superstore, and I needed things in different parts of the store. And because of my shortness of breath and stuff like that, I was going, I decided I would use one of those electronic shopping carts. I've done that before. Don't really care for them, so because they don't go fast, which is a good thing, if you ask me. But there's also this of that people, some people, not hardly anybody, not hardly any people, but okay, you just pulled out in front of somebody who had the right of way. This is the third time I've seen somebody do this right at this corner here. Seriously. But anyway, that was going to be another one. But anyway, I'm in there, so I get one of those shopping carts, and the thing about it is, it's just, like I said, it's not very often, but some people, they will be very rude. Okay, watch this. Let's see how this goes here. Let's see. You see? No, that it didn't do it, but I've seen people who stop right here will run out in front of the people coming the other direction that were there first. Seriously, I've seen it like I said, 3 times at least. But okay, so anyway, so I was in there, and I expect there's going to be at least somebody who's going to be rude, at least one person, and that's been my experience anytime I've ever had to use them. Like one time I hurt my leg or something. I don't even remember what it was, but I had to use them when it was one of those big stores we buy in bulk, kind of a really well-known one. And a woman just ran out in front of me. She pushed her shopping cart. She's around my age. Pushed her shopping cart right in front of me and almost hit her. And she was coming from the other lane. I was going straight. I was in the right. I was in the correct. She went out in front of me, and I said, "How rude." I have no filter. And she turned around and smirked at me. And I was like, and I just kept talking about how rude she was, loud enough for anybody around to hear. Sheriff. Collin County Sheriff. I did not know they're driving a truck. Anyway, so in the store, there were some people who they see, somebody coming like that in one of those, and they're going to rush to get in front of them. And that's what happened in the checkout. The guy that was, I'm going through there. I'm not stopping yet. And I'm in the right, again, in the correct. And I'm going up to a lane, and he tries to go around me so he can get to that lane before me. And I turned around, and I said, like I said, I have no filter. Very little filter. And I looked at him, and I said pretty loud, I said, "How rude." I mean, serious. I just made a video, and I said in it that I'm a quiet person. And I really am not. My voice is always kind of low. Not real low, but still. People say calm, cool, collected. But this was, how rude, seriously. And like Adam says, people who do some of the stuff that he usually talks about on the road, he said they need to be called out. Like the people who are texting on a turning signal, and everybody else in front of them has already turned, and they got people lined up behind them waiting. Nobody's honking at them saying, "Hey, wake up, stop texting and go." Yeah, I honk now. Seriously, come on. You can see them. If you're parked next to them, you look over and they're texting. They're holding up all the traffic, but to them it's okay. They could be in any lane, and that happened. But that would, to me, hint at the person thinking they, having this high sense of entitlement. everybody in the world has to wait for them. You know, they own the road. Now watch this, watch this. See that person didn't even stop. Did you see it? They stopped. Because they want to go. They want to get there first. You saw it right in front of your eyes, right? Oh, man. Oh, my God, goodness. I could probably sit here and count. You know, a police officer should sit here and watch this kind of stuff. You know, make some billions for the town. Because really, I mean, I don't know if they can do that. Do they give tickets? And I mean, I think I was misinformed when I was young, you know, about how they ticket people in parking lots, parking areas. I don't know. Anyway, you're getting the gist is that too many people have this high sense of entitlement when it comes to things like just like this. Some people have this high sense of entitlement when it comes to just anybody in anything, work, or just any relationship. Like they feel like they are the number one person in the other person in the relationship better know it. That kind of mentality. Okay, I safely made it through there. Yeah, I was holding my breath. Oh, they're gonna hit me. Somebody's gonna pull out, you know, because they have that high sense of entitlement. In this area, before I ever even knew it existed, so we're looking at, say, 35, 40 years. Before then, it had a reputation of the people had a high sense of entitlement. Seriously, that's the reputation. When I first heard it, I said, what? You know, like I said, 35, 40 years ago, somewhere around there. They said, yeah, the people there, they think that they own everything and they own the roads, and I don't remember how they described it, but that's one of the big things is not everybody. No place should have a reputation like that, really, because not everybody lives there is like that, but it does kind of stick out. Okay, the area, someone just says there's just a one suburb, but it's an area. It's more than one suburb. So, do you see these little red whatever plants on the side? You know, in the middle right here. We're seeing those. You know, I told Adam a couple days ago. I said, man, these things are everywhere. I've seen them before, but we were in a different area and different town even, and it was in a shopping place or something. And since then, he's been looking for them. He said, yeah, I see them everywhere. And he's older than I. And at one point I said, I guess just the town has, you know, maybe this, because he said something about it. I said, I'm thinking it's just a trend. And he said, no, it's not a trend. That's what he said. It's not a trend. The city can't go by trends. I'm like, you know, you see me raising my eyes. I can't do the thing of raising one eyebrow like some people can. But if I could, I would. Because, yeah, I think it is. You go any area around here, like for a while, what they had a lot of was crepe myrtles in the middle. Seriously, it was like a trend. But anyway. Okay, anyway. I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, but you know, there are so many different things that people can show that their sense of entitlement is high. Like, you know, like if you have, another one would be like somebody is sick in your house and they're contagious, and with whatever it is, I'm not a healthcare guru, voice of authority, none of that. I'm not a provider, none. But, you know, they were told to, you know, stay in their room, that kind of thing. Don't be around other people so much in the house, you know, a kid or whatever it is. I don't talk about kids, so an adult. But they don't feel like they should. And the other people feel like, oh, yes, you should. Your doctor said so. this, whatever it is. But they feel like they can do whatever they want to, and everybody else just has to pay. And everybody else in the meanwhile has to wait on them too. I experienced that. I didn't do it, but yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, there's so many different ways. Like I keep saying, like just in conversations. How many of us have known? I've known these type my whole life. That every conversation has to be about them. Some say it's the narcissist. So I've dealt with more that have behaviors like the histrionic personality disorder. It's alongside narcissistic personality disorder, borderline, and antisocial personality disorders. And the one that they have to be center of attention. They'll do anything to be the center of attention. Practically anything. And anybody, I don't care if it's negative or positive, as long as they're at the center of attention. And the ones that disagree with them are just haters along that line to them. And but they feel this like entitlement to be the person on everybody's mind. And any conversation with them, they have to be the one that it's about. The person can have a really, it might be their birthday, or they have a really bad experience right then, or something like that. That person will change it around so fast to where it's back about them. Okay, but they will, have this. The ones that do it actually do it. Believe that it's about them. They have that sense of entitlement, and that they can be rude and say things like, "But your life is so boring." How would they know? They've never let you speak. I have spent a lifetime, seriously, my whole life, I have been around people who have no clue about things about me. Because, I've gotten them out of my life, of course, at some point. But because of their attitude is all about them. They don't know. I did not tell anybody certain things about me. About I have an impressive IQ. Okay, I didn't tell anybody. I'm 61, and I would say it was in the past, sometime in my 50s. Nobody knew. I was trying to think the other day. When did I finally tell somebody? Even Adam. We met and married when I was 18. So yeah, I just didn't tell anybody. But so many of them, I got so used to it that they only wanted to hear about themselves. So I wasn't used to talking about myself until I started really doing, I did videos for past, it'll be 11 years in August. But before that, I wrote stuff online. That was basically it. Those were my outlets, have been my outlets. A diary before when I was younger, that kind of stuff. But no, I've been around too many people in my life who will change it back around to themselves. Adam was a man of few words, as I used to call him. But since he started working from home during 2020, and it was mainly 2023. He used to go with me to do my job. I'm not going to go in detail, but he became a chatterbox. Chatter. And it's not always about him. It's just that he's chattering about anything. When driving down the road, he'll see that sign, like that sign right there. He'll chatter about the sign. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sitting there trying to concentrate, Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And for this part, but I want to start doing more about different kinds of definitions of things and examples again. We'll see, though. Yeah, life has been so busy lately. For how many years? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll talk to you on the video. Bye.